Today, I'm going to be showing you what you can do when you receive a route failure as a customer, including how to use split trips to get around the route failure and how to submit your permit for review to the permit office. So I am starting out on the routing page. This is what it looks like default onto the routing page. You have an origin and destination, and under your location types, you have lat long, milepost, border crossing, a Washington address, and an intersection. For my route today, I'm going to be using a lat long for my origin. And I'm going to use the border crossing of I-90 into Idaho for my destination. And now that I have both my origin and my destination plugged in, I'm going to go ahead and click route. As you can see pretty quickly here, I got this route failure message displayed above my origin destination. And it says that I have a route failure and that my route requested was unable to be accommodated. I can try a different route or I can request routing assistance and my permit application will be submitted for review. In this case, just allow up to 3 business days for permit review. So the first thing that I'm going to show you guys is how you can submit your permit to the permit office. I'm going to do that by clicking this checkbox here that says I have a problem with my route and I would like it reviewed. And for this reasoning, I'm just going to enter that I have a route failure and I don't know why. I have entered my reasoning for submitting it to the permit office. I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom and I'm going to click next. And I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom of the page once I've reviewed all the other information on this page, and I'm going to submit. And you'll see that my permit was submitted. It has a permit status of routing assistance, and I can return to my company dashboard to order more permits. Now I am back on the route page with the same route, and I'm going to receive a route failure, and I'm going to show you another way that you can get around these route failures using split trips. So as you can see, I have that same route failure message. And using split trips can sometimes take a little bit of a finesse, but once you know how to use them, they're super handy. So I'm going to look at my origin and I'm going to look at my destination. We have some green on system highlights in between them. We do not have a blue route line because we were unable to accommodate the route. So I'm going to start doing some investigating on my route. You'll notice on the map there are some red highlights. These are restrictions that are impacting your route. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use this get restriction information for road radio button, and I'm going to select it and I'm going to go into these two red highlights here on I-90 eastbound, and I'm going to investigate into what those highlights are for. So I'm going to click this first one, and it looks like we have a bridge here, I-90 eastbound under Barker Road. We can only be 1411 going under this bridge. So I'm going to close this out here, and I'm going to go on to this next restriction highlight, and I'm going to click that. And then it looks like we have another bridge, I-90 eastbound under a ramp, and the height limit is 14.9. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to go to my dimensions, and it looks like we are 15.2. So obviously we are not getting under those bridges. Now that I know which restrictions are causing my route failure, I can plan on how I want to do my split trips. Keep in mind that if you are going to be going onto local roads, you do have to have that local approval. Local roads are not permitted and they are not on your permit. So just keep that in mind. But for this, I'm going to use some split trips, and I'm going to say that I got approval to go onto I-90 eastbound, exit off at this exit ramp, travel across East Broadway Avenue, onto East Appleway Avenue, and then go back onto I-90 through to my destination. Now that I have that approval and I know what I'm going to do, I'm going to go up to my origin and destination, and I'm going to change my destination from my border crossing at I-90, and I'm going to click this Find on Map Latitude Longitude. I'm going to click Find, and I am going to zoom into the map. And remember, I want to go onto I-90 from that ramp and then exit right here around this roundabout onto East Broadway Avenue. So I'm going to use this select radio button, and I'm going to choose where I'm exiting our off-system road. And then I'm going to click done. At this point, it might be helpful to go ahead and route, even though this is not our completed route, just to see our blue route line. So here you can see there are no restrictions on our route so far. And I'm going to go ahead and finish up this route by going back up to my trip entry. I'm going to click this Add Split Trip button, and I'm going to choose my origin as a latitude longitude again. I'm going to click Find. And remember, once again, we are going on to I-90, exiting off towards East Broadway Avenue, and we want to travel onto East Appleway, and then we want to get back onto I-90 from this East Appleway, East Country Vista Drive. So I'm going to use this select radio button again. I'm going to choose where I'm entering the on-system road. I'm going to click Done. And then my last and final step to this is to choose my border crossing at I-90 again. So I'm going to choose I-90 into Idaho, and I am going to route one more time. Alrighty, and as you can see, we were able to obtain our desired route using split trips. So we have our first origin, we're going onto I-90 eastbound, we are exiting and avoiding both of these height restrictions onto East Broadway Avenue, East Appleway, and then we are getting back on our permitted route on I-90, and then we're going all the way across to our destination at the border of Idaho and Washington. You'll see that on the map, these are both split into the first trip and then the first split trip. And then under your driving directions, you will see the same thing. Your turn-by-turn driving directions are split in between both trips. And those are two things that you can do when you encounter route failures as a customer.